Hey everybody, Peter Keys here at Carter Vintage Guitars in Nashville. Not a single fucking keyboard. What am I supposed to do? Hey everybody, it's Peter Keys here with the Insomnia Chronicles with my good friend Kenny Olson. Where are we, Kenny?
We are at Carter Vintage Guitars.
Carter Vintage Guitars in Nashville. Drinking coffee, playing guitar, hanging out with my boy
it's
Kenny.
Actually Carter Vintage Instruments.
Vintage Instruments, you see? Corrected me already. I'm supposed to ask the questions.
There's more than just guitars. Look around us.
I don't see a single piano in here.
And we've discovered in here today that this half, harp guitar over here, when you hit a note, it echoes.
Let me hear it. That's sympathetic resonance.
Yes.
How you doing, Kenny?
It's giving me ideas.
Oh, no more ideas.
I like what Jimmy was talking about with putting the amp underneath the piano strings and all that echo.
There we go. What are you playing right now?
Well, this is a beautiful Echopark guitar that I've fallen in love with. We have a little crush on right now immediately.
Guitar crush.
Yes, crushing. It's got a beautiful flame maple neck, swamp ash body, really light.
How did you know all that stuff?
Because, us gearhead guitar players become obsessed with these things at a young age, and
you're hip to the subtle nuances of the guitar.
The subtle nuances.
Nice.
And we get a little, there's a lot more goes into it.
Well, I was just blown away by how many tones you could get out of that one guitar without any of your fancy pedals or tricks or anything like that. You were just dialing in all different types of sounds.
This amp that I'm playing through for the first time here too, which is very old school and awesome sounding. So.
Never take Kenny into a vintage instrument store ever.
I know.
Bad idea.
I got cash in my pocket too.
Burning a hole. Oh man. So Kenny and I did this thing called the All-Time Low Stars. Just happened to wear the shirt. See, you didn't wear yours though, no.
Mine's worn and faded,
Yeah.
I wore mine out.
Probably sounds better now.
I wore mine out like a true warrior, representing.
Yeah.
I think it was right after I quit playing with Kid Rock. About a little bit after that, I moved down here, and I found a place. And I was going back up to get the family pretty much, And I stop at a gas station and there's Peter.
Dayton, Ohio, 4 a.m. I'm like, that looks like Kenny Olson.
I should have gave me some of that because I was on my way to Michigan.
I should have had some of this. It did not have the Insomnia blend at that point, but we literally met at a gas station. Like I was heading down and he was headed back up, and I was with my wife Rachel, and we were in this tiny Ford Fiesta. And it was literally running on 3 cylinders.
You were in a Fiesta.
Yeah, we were in a Fiesta. I didn't drive at that point. Long story.
We'll
get into that
later. You got the big GMC.
No, I'm driving a Silverado, baby. Yeah. But anyways,
Chevy.
Kenny's like, you got to come to Nashville. I said, I'm on my way, man. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, and here we are. Along with everybody else moving here.
Yeah, part of the mass exodus. Yeah. So, but now we're here talking guitar, talking shop, talking coffee. Play us a couple notes. Let's hear what that thing sounds like. What's your favorite features of this guitar so far?
I don't know. I was just noodling around with it. It's got everything in it. I mean, let's see. Let's start a little mellow. Steven, you hear that little tremolo in there? What's cool on this guitar too is like you can use it like.
Sensitive side of Kenny Olson.
There you go.
Sweet sounds. That's what's up.
But I like this echo in the background. It makes me want to play really.
Oh, just all these strings resonating?
Yeah. It makes me want to play real blanked up stuff that other people don't want to hear.
It's fucking studio nightmare. It's engineer's nightmare. Hey, can you mute the snare on all those 74 guitars? Yeah.
Like the overtones in this thing is just...
Yeah, man. Kenny Olson.
Guitar.
So what have you been up to? What are some other projects that you've been doing, man?
Well, just had a lot of fun the last few weeks. We've been obviously you were sorely missed because everybody there loves you and wanted you there.
I cannot wait to get in on some of this shit that he's about to tell you about right now.
And, me and Norwood Fisher from Fishbone, bass player, and Steve Perkins from Jane's Addiction, and I mean both two of my favorite players and best at what they do. And three of us, we've been friends for a long time. Back in the early years, growing up in Detroit, I'd moved to LA and then come back for a little recovery time, or just run out of money. But I'd lived in LA in that late '80s, early '90s thing, and so we've all been friends since then. And over the years, I've had a few different little projects and stuff. And Scott Page from Pink Floyd and a few of the other Pink Floyd members have been doing this like beyond the wall, they're calling it, this Think Experience thing. And even Shankar, the violinist, with Peter Gabriel and Sting, and all this crazy half note stuff. He's amazing.
Dude, I'm so mad that I wasn't able to do that last week.
He's amazing, but we kind of, it's not really like a Floyd tribute band, even though we are centered around that, but all these transitions and stuff that happen that are organic, and obviously the history that Steve and Norwood and I have, we have our own stuff anyways, but the variations we've been doing, and it's cool because it's endorsed with the Floyd family, so we're not like a tribute band, and we're not.
Right. Now you guys you're actually doing this inside planetariums, right? Where they show, celestial 360-degree light shows and shit.
Not good for someone like me with vertigo. I got that inner ear damage thing. I can be completely sober and on water and hit a note like this and look up and be like, Norwood, catch me, I'm coming out.
They're hitting you with lasers and all that shit. Oh, dude, it looks so fun, man.
But it's amazing because the sound, literally, when you're sound checking before people get in there, it's insane. It just bounces everywhere.
You're in a globe.
Like you're hearing like it's like an old like Mooga Fooga delay or something. It's like You're hearing like the snare drum and like it's more than a flam. It's like a delay.
It's like a sample, like
a flam on ludes, like But as soon as you get it up to this right level, it's and the people are in there, it overpowers, and it sounds like you're literally listening to music in some high-end monitors in a control room.
Like you're inside the freaking
like
monitor.
Everything, like I could play a live recording of it, and everything that everybody's hearing is like they're listening to the album. It's all like panning the whole time, and the sound.
So it's like 3D HD.
Yeah. Andy Kravitz, who's a legendary producer and engineer and musician himself, they've brought in someone of his caliber to make it work for people to experience the thing. And we're going to be doing a bunch of live ones around the world at some point. Everybody's got their own projects and stuff they're doing. So it works out great when everybody can, which you will be.
I'll be on hopefully the next one. It's funny because I used to actually follow around Fishbone and the Chili Peppers back in the 80s. Like they'd play in San Francisco and I'd go see them at the Stone. And I remember the first time I saw Fishbone, I was like, holy shit, what are these guys doing? They were like throwing their fucking trumpets across the stage and people were catching them, and Norwood came out in like some kind of priest outfit with no pants on. I was like, he's not wearing pants, can he do that? But they just played, they killed it, man. You know, so to get to play with you and him and Perkins,
Norwood's
it's gonna be awesome.
Norwood is an incredible, he's one of my favorite bass players out there. And even if you asked the legends that it was under,
right.
Your Billy Bass Nelson, Bootsy, all of them, like, Norwood, even Fleet.
Yeah, well, him and Flea were like the guys.
So they're like soul brothers beyond, and Flea influenced Norwood to that whole, punk rock thing, and Norwood took him into funk world, and they just
and they
playing together.
They created that whole scene. Like I remember, I turned on all of West Marin where I lived. I turned them all on to the Chili Peppers because nobody had heard who they were, and like I was just discovering George Clinton.
Yeah.
And he'd produced Freaky Styley, and I brought this record out, and they came out and played in Point Reyes, which is a town of 300 people, at this place called the Dance Palace, and we just packed it, and it was fucking amazing. But but like Fishbone, Chili Peppers, what you did with Kid Rock, all of that stuff was, I was like, man, I want to play with those guys. How come I don't get to play with those guys? And now here we are. We're about to do some shit. It's going to be amazing.
There's no one better favorite to play with than this band right here. It's awesome.
Same. This is my brother from another.
Soul brothers.
Yeah.
The all-time low stars. It's a lot of amazing, cool stuff is gonna be coming from it.
Yeah.
Timeless and a little bit of shenanigans.
A little shenanigans, a little dirty funk soul for y'all. Kenny Olson, Peter Keys, all-time low stars, the Insomnia Chronicles. That's what's up. Hey everybody, Peter Keys here with the Insomnia Chronicles. I'm with Rhett, Shull, and Echopark Guitars, and we're hanging out here listening to some, I don't know, what are we listening to? What do you got there?
Man, it's a pretty badass DT series Clarence model, right?
It's an Echocaster.
Echocaster.
Echocaster, I like it. I like what you've done with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Rhett, tell me a little bit about yourself. When did you start your musical journey?
Oh man, well I started playing when I was probably 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I got into guitar after hearing Red House on the Hendrix Blues compilation album. At like 11 or 12 years old, I heard that and it just blew my mind, man.
The formative years, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it and I was like, what the hell is that? I gotta figure out how to do that.
And were you bummed when you realized that you weren't left-handed?
Yeah. So I gave it a couple, no. So yeah, I got my parents got me just like a cheap little Squire Strat thing for Christmas that year and I haven't put it down since, man.
Nice, nice. And so what brings you to Nashville?
Well, I'm from Atlanta. I still live in Atlanta. And for the last probably 3 years, I've been touring with a band out of here, formerly called Muddy Magnolias. Now it's just a solo artist named Jesse Wilson. And it's like, funk, R&B, soul, rock kind of stuff.
Cool.
High energy, very heavily guitar driven, a lot of fun.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, man. And How did you get introduced to Echopark Guitars?
Well, I actually do a YouTube channel. Well, now pretty much full time. It's kind of taken over in this past year, and so I do videos about guitars and guitar-related stuff. And Gabriel reached out to me, God, back in maybe February or March of this year, and was like, "Hey, can I send you some stuff to try out?" And I've been lucky enough to live with, I think, 3 different Echoparks for a while. He'll send them down my way, and I live with them for a month and a half, make some videos with them, and they're unbelievably good guitars, man. Really, really good.
Nice, nice. Now, have you played this one before?
No, I literally just picked this one up. And I mean, the thing about them is, this is, I guess, now my 4th or 5th Echopark I've played, and they all feel kind of similar in that they have a lot of character, and they feel pretty much already broken in, like they've been played for a long time.
Right.
Which is hard to do, I think, on a guitar.
Like an old pair of jeans, really.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, man, this is cool. I like the combination of the P90 and the wide range humbucker there. I think is,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. I'm already like immediately hear just the sustain out of that. It's like, okay, man, there are no pedals, no tricks.
Yeah.
That's just straight guitar into amp. Into fingers.
Yeah,
Right.
fingers into guitar into amp. And you're right, it has that thing where you can just kind of like, like lean on it and get those harmonics.
It's like
out.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, exactly. It's still going.
Gotta touch it. Nice, nice. Tell us about your YouTube channel. What do you got going on?
Man, I do, a lot of different types of videos. Everything from kind of straight ahead gear demo stuff to, I travel a lot with music. I play with, multiple different artists. So I'm on the road quite a bit, and I like to kind of vlog and tell that story because there's not really anybody else on YouTube doing that. A lot of guitar channels, a lot of really killer guitar players out there.
Right.
But I didn't really see anybody that was doing what I do. So I do that, I vlog when I'm on the road, and then I do sort of lesson-based videos talking about tone and how to use gear most effectively.
Well, what's the name of your channel?
Just my name, Rhett Shull.
Rhett Shull, Shull.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I do a thing. Well, this is called the Insomnia Chronicles, and it's really weird because it's the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But generally, we get off the stage and I get on the bus and I can't sleep.
Right.
Sometimes because I drink coffee, mostly just because I'm amped from the crowds.
Right.
So I'll do like a live Facebook thing called Insomnia Chronicles where I just blast, on the bus till about 6 in the morning
Right.
and take questions from people,
man.
and just really talk shit all night, you
Right.
know. So it's kind of fun.
Well, that's what's wonderful about the internet now. It's like
Yeah.
we have this outlet. That,
Yeah, way too much exposure,
Exactly.
man. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't care if nobody listens, I get to say stuff.
Right, there's
There-
no barrier anymore. You just share
Yeah.
your whole life,
Nice.
So,
Well,
yeah,
very
man.
cool, man. Well, awesome. Hey, man, it's a pleasure to meet you, man.
You too, man.
Glad to
Thanks
hear
for
it.
having me.
All right, Peter Keys here with the Insomnia Chronicles with Rhett Shull. We're at Carter Vintage Guitars in Nashville. That's what's up. Hey everybody, how you doing? Peter Keys here. We are at Carter Vintage Guitar with Gabe Currie from Echopark Guitars, ready for the Insomnia Chronicles. You've been making Echopark guitars for some of the most badass guitar players on the planet. You're based out of Detroit now?
You know, we looked at a bunch of different places for a while, and just, you know, it just kind of made sense at the time, and we got very lucky and very fortunate to have found the house that we found, and at the time that we found it, and you know, everything's been everybody's just really great. You know, honestly, it's, you know, it's every paradigm shift in your life that you make has its lumps. You know, so there was some lumps along the way, but for the most part, we're very grateful and thankful to have. The region itself, man, historically, is just like anything that we, basically all the stuff that we take for granted, you know, that was, you know, designed and engineered for our, you know, greater capacity as humans to, you know, produce stuff basically.
Right.
And manufacturing innovations that we still use today came from there. Like even agriculture, like it just goes on and on.
Right, production lines, infrastructure, fucking distribution, all of that stuff.
Railroads, cast iron stuff.
And way too much damn snow in the winter.
Yeah, and also the timber industry. You know, the timber industry as a commercial industry.
Right.
Started in northern, you know, in western Michigan. You know, and
I did not know that.
they clear cut the fuck out of it back in the 1800s to build out San Francisco and the gold rush and all that shit. The railroad industry,
Right.
And, you know, followed. I mean, that's what happened. It's like, and not just that. Like, okay, we're sitting in a room full of, you know, old Gibsons. All, you know, half of these were probably made
Kalamazoo, right?
Kalamazoo. So
Yeah.
it's like a testament also to that environment is the long life that these guys
It's kind of like a full circle type situation.
The whole
Yeah.
idea of going there and like going across the fucking country to just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like that's how it was half the time for me. It was like, huh. And my wife, like, you know, like kind of kicking and screaming almost the whole time.
You're like, we're taking a leap. We're taking a leap of faith. We're doing this. Come on.
Yeah.
So you're driven by like something deeper than just.
I think it's cool to like make stuff that's around for a lot longer than you. It's like that's what else is there? Honestly, it's like, you know, you can live a good life and be a good teacher and be a good steward to the land and all these other things, but unless there's something physical to like pass on,
Right.
it's just a memory, and that memory fades, you know. It's
Right.
like,
So basically, you're leaving something for the future, much like a good song. Right. A song's going to be sung forever if it's good enough.
I want the aliens to.
You want the aliens to?
Yeah,
brother.
To resurrect these from their tombs.
I've been waiting for them to come pick me up, man, because
after the volcano's ashes bury us all, you know.
Right.
There's no
backup plan, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, if I don't do this, then I guess I dig ditches or something. I don't
Dude,
know.
that's.
It can be your tech or something, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, like I said, driven, you know?
I'll change your strings.
Yeah. Nice. Well, dude, I want to acknowledge you for just go ahead and taking that risk and, you know, launching off and jumping into it, man, because I think that's what separates the men from the boys, really. It's like, are you willing to put everything that you have into what you want to do, or are you going to kind of halfway do it and say, well, if this doesn't work out, I'll move back to mom's house.
Yeah, no,
you know?
Risking it always. You
Yeah.
know, it's like there's no second chances anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And I think the universe recognizes that. Universe is like, okay, cool, so you're all in. All right, we're going to hook you up.
I mean, like, I've done a lot. Well, like, when I was going through some dark years, I put just as much effort into, you know, making that shit fucking happen every day, you know?
Right.
Mandatory, like I had to be...
Full-time job, dude, I know.
Always, you know, so, you know, I think it's in the fiber of the character of the person, you know? I mean, not everybody's cut out for everything, you know what I mean?
That's some soul shit right there.
There's some people that are fucking awesome burger flippers, and that's what their fucking gig is. You know, it's like they love that. You know,
Right.
No, many burger joints out there. That's
Yeah.
a testament to that.
No, don't do it. Look,
After you've worked in
I've met some foodies that will just fuck you up, man. I had this meal on Maui that pissed me off for every meal that I'd eaten before, and probably every meal I'll ever eat again. It was that good, and I guarantee you, there was a chef back there with the same shit inside him that you or I have for what we do.
Yeah.
You know. So tell me about the movie. What is the movie about?
It's actually what happened is when Blur Creative contacted me just to kind of, you know, just to say hello and welcome me to town and that kind of thing, and then also they're guitar freaks. So we got to talking about different. They were looking for somebody to do something creative with that was, you know, a maker of some kind.
Right.
And they ran into me basically, and so I had just looked at the first pieces of wood that are this, like maybe a couple days prior.
Right.
And so I was really excited about it. So they wanted to come down and see the shop, and I think in the conversation that we had on the phone, I mentioned this thing that I had just kind of.
Now, is this the swamp ash?
No, this is white pine.
White pine. So like a 300-year-old white pine.
This stuff was like chopped down in the mid to late 1800s, and I really strive to use as much old material as I can in the creation of the guitar itself. Like,
so the movie is about that. It's about the process and
it's about finding that stuff, and it's about the history of Charles Hackley. It's about my history. It's about, you know, the culmination of these ideas that we've talked about kind of coming together. And, you know, I'm not a cookie cutter like guitar builder kind of guy. I do a lot of different kind of quirky things, and I take a lot of liberties and a lot of chances with some of the things that I do, and you know, whatever. It's not that crazy, but the idea that finding this wood that's so preserved and find a piece of white pine and go buy it if you can find it. It's what do they call it? Unobtainium, right?
Rusty gold.
Yeah, and so and ironically, in the lure of Fender, in the early days of manufacturing, they tried out a bunch of different stuff: sassafras, pine, ash. You know, was the first material. So there are a few pine Telecasters out there, and they're really, really rare.
Right.
And they fetch a pretty heavy tag, you know. And so in relation to that, I thought, well, there's guys building, you know, guitars out of like old, you know, skyscraper beams in New York, or you know,
or out of Jimi Hendrix's cabin.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so I thought, well, this is kind of the epitome of that, you know, like not reclaimed, not recycled, but like, you know.
Nice. So basically, to recap, you're making a movie of this old sunk white pine that you're going to be making guitars out of. So basically, you can get the sound of like a 1940s Gibson, because this wood is so old and seasoned, right?
Yeah, I mean,
not to pair you with Gibson, but
but the timbre of the instrument, the timbre of the resonance and all that kind of stuff, it's
for sure.
It's going to be unique, and it's going to be really, truly, you know, something to be. I mean, the right thing to do with them is to make them into guitars, you know.
Unless you can make a piano. Are you going to make me a piano?
I mean, talk about it.
All right, that's what's up.